This is the Retirement Bullpen with Richard Warner. The team at Warner Financial Solutions want to help you feel confident about your retirement, no matter where you stand. Get more at warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Now, the Retirement Bullpen.
Happy 2025, everybody. Welcome into the Retirement Bullpen, where the guy who's been a coach for a long time and been in this industry a long time. Your main host, Richard Warner, retirement income certified professional at Warner Financial Solutions, Greater Omaha, Nebraska area. Get in touch with Richard and the team, 402-274-9185 or warnerfinancialsolutions.com. And when you're there, schedule a meeting, subscribe to the newsletter, and hey, you might as well subscribe to this podcast too if you haven't already. We're on Apple and Spotify and some of the other podcatchers. And again, on warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Richard, Happy New Year to you, and I hope you got some rest here during these holidays.
Same to you, Doug. And yes, I did. It's very important to get caught up on that and recharge for the new year. New year starts, and time to get back to it.
And soon, this is January, soon February, will be pushing into baseball season, right? So I'm sure the amount of rest and relaxation time will start to go down just a little bit.
Yeah, the indoor workouts start happening in January. They're minimal compared to the regular season, and then March and April start getting a little crazy. But
yeah.
But it's fun. I enjoy doing it, just like I enjoy doing this.
That's true. And the enjoyment is palpable that you experience there because you know so much about the issues. And last time out, we talked about whether someone has enough to retire. And we didn't come up with some magic number. You might have heard that in some financial advisor in a box or some internet meme or TikTok thing or something. But really, everybody's situation's different. And what Richard walks you through in our last episode here are the right questions to ask, or the questions that the firm and the team at warnerfinancialsolutions.com, they ask. So this time we're going to talk about retirement budgeting. And hey, I want to talk about a little bang for the buck here. Comedian Greg Warren talking about, of all things, probiotics. Listen to this.
Probiotics, you know what that is? There's a war in my stomach between good bacteria and bad bacteria. And I'm sure you've heard wars cost money, and my good bacteria costs $100 a bottle. But here's the good news. I read the bottle. Each pill contains 360 billion colony-forming units. So per colony, very affordable.
There you go. And I mean,
pretty good.
This is probably a stretch to apply that to retirement budgeting. I just like that little bit there for comedian Greg Warren. But I'm sure people come to you when they do their budgeting and they go, well, it's pretty affordable. You think, we got 8 children. So, it makes sense that we have a 20-bedroom house. I'm joking, of course. But I'm sure you have to walk people through some tough conversations that maybe think they've had it together all this time.
Yeah, budgeting is probably the most hated part for the average individual when this comes up. So when I first started, I had this worksheet that I would almost make them go through. I started learning real quickly that they would come back and most of it wouldn't be filled out. And like they'd leave out in very important items like food. So you don't plan on eating in retirement? And they're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. People just hate this conversation. Yeah. And I'm not putting those people down. I'm not making fun of it. It's just like, I kind of feel the same way if I'm sitting in their shoes. So now on the other hand, though, I meet some people that they, down to the penny, they know where everything is going.
Wow.
Those individuals are pretty easy to take that and plug into, okay, you have this much Social Security, you have this much savings. This is how long your money is going to last. Most of us aren't that way, though. Most of us have a good feel for what we need, but we don't have it down to an exact science. So as a retirement income planner, as a person looking to transition into retirement, how do you answer the question, what do I need to live on month after month after month after month? I have found the easiest way to answer that question is, what if we could look at what your take home is right now?
Yeah.
Just keep the same take home you have right now. So where a lot of people go with that is, well, this is my salary. No, I'm not talking about your salary. Because when your salary starts, it gets divided into each month, and they take some out for your 401k contribution. They take some out for your health insurance. They take some out for that other stuff. They take some out for the federal tax, the state tax, the FICA. A lot of those things really all of them other than the federal and the state. And in some scenarios, you might not even pay federal or state income taxes, depending upon your income levels. But most of those line items that are coming off the top of your salary are not going to be coming off of your paycheck in retirement. You're not going to pay FICA taxes anymore. You're not going to pay health insurance off your check. Yes, you will have a money that goes to Medicare that comes off your Social Security check. You will have probably a supplement or some sort of supplemental coverage. Maybe you have a group benefit. You'll have those line items. We'll build that into it, but it's going to be different. You're definitely not going to be making contributions into your 401k. You're not going to have things like that. So a lot of those numbers don't apply. So the take-home number we have found is a really, really good indicator. If we can continue to generate your take-home number throughout retirement at a very high success rate, you probably can have a very, very successful retirement. And I would even argue you're probably going to have a lot more than you really think. And here's why. I hear this from people all the time. I actually just had this conversation last week. A couple that I was meeting with, we were doing a review, and he made the comment. He goes, I remember when when I was getting retired, because his wife's getting ready to retire now, because she was a little bit younger. And when I was getting ready to retire, I just didn't see how we were going to make this work. And now we have all this excess money coming in. And what really happens to a lot of people when they retire is they're not spending near the amount of money on gas, food, and clothing that they were going to and from work. It's unbelievable, I think, in some people's minds when they actually look back after a year or so of being retired, what they're not spending in certain areas. Some people, it might just be the stop at the coffee shop, whether it's Starbucks or Scooters around here, the stop at the coffee shop that adds up to sometimes thousands of dollars a year of expenses.
That's crazy. Wow.
They don't spend anymore, or they don't spend near as much of, because they drink that cup of coffee or a couple cups of coffee at home now. They still will get it from time to time. So my point is, if you look at it from the standpoint of that take home, a lot of times we get to a number that's very achievable and ends up being more than you need to retire, because you end up having excess cash flow. So we get down the road a little bit and now we're saving a little bit, or we're needing to pull less out of your retirement, which that potentially allows us to take less risk or what have you. So we can even make things more predictable for you as time goes on.
Well, and that's really interesting that you talk about the costs that come out of it and then making things predictable, because I'll be honest, the connotation that I have with retiring is much more, it's not the people in like the healthcare commercials, all right, that are like living the great life on the lake or something. It's what I grew up with, where my grandmother was a Depression era person and had a fixed income and was really tight with money. Just generationally, that's how she was brought up. So I'm always thinking like, oh my gosh, people have to live with this tiny fixed income, and all the poor old ladies at my church growing up, that kind of thing. And what you're saying is with some proper planning, it's very possible, no guarantee, but very possible that you can have your same take-home pay. And my gosh, if I was thinking right now, I could have the similar thing hit my bank account every 2 weeks or every month that I'm getting now, I would feel pretty good.
And that takes a lot of the fear and anxiety out of the retirement, which we talked about in the last show, is just that fear of, can I pull this off? And so having a comfortable feeling of what you need. And so if you're not a budgeter, that's fine. You're kind of budgeting now because you have a paycheck coming in every so often, or whenever you get paid monthly, biweekly, whatever it might be. And if we just use the same math that you're using now, but just apply it to retirement, it's very likely going to end up a successful transition into retirement for you.
Now, we're hearing a lot of good news here. Okay, it's possible. But what are some of the things that people don't account for? So, hey, a lot of times mortgages are paid off, but sometimes people want to get a vacation home, or they want to downsize, but because costs have gone up, they still got to get a mortgage to downsize. Maybe, I'm just spitballing here. But then there's healthcare too, right? Which I know you and the Warner Financial Solutions team do all sorts of work with. So what are some of the things when you ask them questions? Like first there's, oh my gosh, really? That's all I need. But then there's, oh gosh, I didn't think of that.
A big one is inflation. So we will project that in our one-on-one consultation, though, what that current take-home looks like inflated over time, because that's an important thing to do, because your take-home today wasn't the same as you needed 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
Now, in some scenarios, if you had kids at home back then, you may have had more need for take home back then. But the actual pure expense of the same items was less 20, 30 years ago than it is today. Well, 20, 30 years down the road, inflation is going to drive that up. So we want to account for that. Some common things, these may sound weird, but a lot of people, it just seems to floor them like they didn't see this coming. They retire at 60, 65. And for whatever reason, they have this idea that this car that they have, they're just going to drive this till they're 100. Obviously, cars don't last that long. So you're going to probably need to buy some sort of a vehicle at some point in retirement. Now, you may not need two. A lot of couples end up going down to one. They keep a one beater around or whatever, and they keep one nice one around. Again, I'm not saying that should be your process, but a lot of folks don't account for the fact that, yeah, I'm going to probably need to buy a vehicle, and those are not cheap. So it's something you have to plan for. Things in your house breaking down, insurance takes care of some of the major stuff, but your heater goes out, insurance typically not going to take care of that. You got big purchases like that you just don't think about as much when you're working and generating an income that you will think about in retirement when you're considering all the particular scenarios around where am I going to fund that? How am I going to fund that? So you want to build different scenarios in. One you mentioned there, Doug, healthcare. A lot of your regular stuff should be taken care of, but it's the unexpected stuff. What if you end up in a long-term care facility?
Yeah.
Depending upon your situation, there might be some planning we want to look at in that situation, because that is very, very expensive, and it can create a drag, if you will, on your spouse. If there's a spouse there, it can really affect their income situation as well as just the cost for paying for it. So there's a lot of things you want to factor. The starting point of take home is a good starting point, but you do need to consider those other things. And the last one, this one's kind of a funny one. A lot of people say this will never happen to me, but I see it more and more all the time, is there's going to be some leeches out there. There's going to be some people that know you've got some funds, and could be a sister, a brother, could be a son, a daughter, unfortunately. It could be a lot of different scenarios. And I've seen some people run themselves dry trying to take care of so-and-so. And so you got to be careful with that. I mean, yes, you want to help people if you can. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm in this business to help people. I try to help people if I can. But at the same time, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where not only you can't help them anymore, but you can't even take care of yourself anymore as well.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Gosh, yeah. And certainly, some kids that want to live at home till they're in their 30s or something like that, that could be a drain and a cost that maybe at one point you're expected to get off the books. Well, someone's hearing all these different variables, and there's good news and bad, or there's, it could all end up being good news, but there's the pros and the cons, right? And they need somebody to walk them through it. What do they do here, Richard?
That's exactly right. And that's what we'll do in that one-on-one consultation. And we can do this over the phone. We can do this face-to-face, in your home, in our office, whatever is most convenient for you. The idea is to have a beginning conversation, see where you are.
Yes.
See what this looks like. There's no cost. There's no obligation to you. We're just here to help, to see if we can provide you any guidance. And I believe we can. I believe we can give you some direction, and we can give you a little bit of sense of predictability in what your financial outcome will look like. And we can give you some advice along the way and help you as you are taking withdrawals, managing and minimizing taxes, minimizing risk, those types of things, and getting the most out of your retirement, your Social Security and your Medicare throughout your retirement years.
And what you can do, folks, go to WarnerFinancialSolutions.com, dial them up, 402-274-9185. Schedule that meeting like Richard just talked about. Subscribe to the newsletter, too. And, hey, subscribe to the podcast, because we're on Apple and Spotify and the different podcatchers. And make sure, if you know someone that's approaching this dilemma, retirement budgeting, maybe you've got an elderly parent that has done this poorly, and you see them, they keep ordering vitamins, like just too many vitamins. No, I don't know, but whatever it is, right? I've seen people, especially if they're starting to lose their faculties a little bit, and they'll have like a closet just full of stuff they've never even touched, right? But I know that's extreme and maybe too granular, but nonetheless, if someone needs help walking through these and asking the right questions, even considering the good things, maybe they're too fearful. We've talked a lot about fear these last two episodes. Then send it to WarnerFinancialSolutions.com, and Richard and the team can help them out. And not just through budgeting, but also Medicare planning, Social Security maximization, Roth conversions, wealth management, holistic approach, WarnerFinancialSolutions.com. That's a great way to kick off the new year, Richard. Budgeting. What a great choice for a first episode of 2025. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves that. Kind of like weight loss and going to the gym, right?
There you go. And don't forget that physical too, right? Hey, we thank you for your time, sir. And I hope you got some R&R during the holidays there. And we look forward to continuing with the retirement bullpen here through the year.
Yeah, thank you. Happy New Year to y'all. And as you well, Doug.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thanks to our producer, Brandon Benefield, as well, for polishing this bad boy up and getting this edited and published. And again, remember not only to share this through Apple and Spotify, make sure people in your circle know about it, but turn on the subscription so you get that notification there, or subscribe and then turn on notifications so you get that notice every time we put out a new episode. And we'll have another retirement bullpen coming your way here in under 2 weeks. If you're listening to these chronologically, he's Richard Warner, the retirement income certified professional and the host here. And of course, he's with Warner Financial Solutions. I'm Doug Turnbull, and Happy New Year, y'all. We'll see you soon.
Insurance products are offered to the insurance business Warner Financial. Warner Financial is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Warner Financial are not subject to investment advisor requirements. NPN number 7617022. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be considered as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Warner Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Warner Financial.